today it's the colours that I've come out for, and it's just one of those days. Now, when I was out first thing this morning, there's quite a lot of fog around in Great Yarmouth, and I thought, wow, there's something really worthwhile coming out for there. But I was due somewhere else, so I couldn't really stop. And the fog's cleared, but the sun has lifted a bit, and it's just really highlighting this beautiful, beautiful, subtle colour palette. Now, you could be forgiven for thinking this is just grey, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the light being kind of flat and things being grey, but it's not just grey, it's let's just think with the word subtle. It's exactly what it is. It is stunningly beautiful in these reeds. And of course, this being the Norfolk Broads, there's quite a lot of reeds around. Within these reeds, there's so many shades and tones and hues of similar kind of browns and beiges. But the way the light really just picks up on the heads of the reeds, the seed heads, I love it. And of course, it's January, it's mid-January. So there's nobody here. You're not going to find many boats out. There's certainly very few, if any, hire boats. Maybe one or two privates, but the moorings down there look quite quiet. And the marshland here is really rather lovely. Somewhere over the back here, there's somebody operating a chainsaw, so there's doing a bit of work going on. So probably hear it. But I think there's going to be images galore here, and if you get an opportunity to come out in an environment where you've got these subtle, really diffused light, there's next to no shadow here. I'm looking down at my feet, and there's literally nothing, which is wonderful for situations, particularly if you want to look into the sun, of course, because whilst there may be some haze down there, there's just no harsh light, which is one of the things I've had I wouldn't say quite a lot of. I mean, we get more days like this, in fairness, rather than clear days. But a lot of the days have been and today's just a little bit more exciting, and actually it's a lot more exciting. It's rare I come here and don't get a photo of the mill. It's best to get a photo of the mill generally in winter when you've got a decent sunset, because the sun sets pretty much behind the mill. I'm probably a little late for that in terms of winter times, kind of pre-turn of the year generally. You've got some beautiful, beautiful colours over there sometimes. But we often get some beautiful skies as well, and you may be able to see some lovely kind of cloud streaks and such coming through there, which is rather nice. One of the biggest challenges of getting a good photo of the mill, from my point of view, and getting rid of extraneous intrusions into the image, is there's a big signpost down there by the moorings, which mooring information for boaters, and it's just this white and green slab. It's hideous. But the more you go that way, the less you can hide the wretched thing. You need to move over here and just get it out of frame. There's virtually nothing to put it behind. You might be able to hide it behind this silver birch and such here, but this time of year it's still going to kind of show through because it's white. It's going to contrast against it. But if we go this way a little bit more, then we can hide it away. If I put this onto video, you get the idea of what it is I'm talking about there. It's hideous, isn't it? We can kind of zoom in and get it out the way, or we can just walk a little bit further and maybe past this bush here, by that bush there, and we can completely, here we go, put it on video. You see, we can get it out of the frame. You see it's over on the right there, and just zoom a little bit more, and we're kind of good with that.
Now, if you watched a few of my videos, you'll appreciate that I often talk about the heading of things, the way things are facing, and this windmill is definitely facing somewhere, and it's facing out of the frame. I don't generally like that. I don't much like it here because it's looking at something that you can't see in the frame. Does it make it a bad picture? No, but my personal preference would be to go and turn that cap around. Not that that's possible, of course, but you get what I mean.
I haven't really come for photos of the mill. Yeah, you take your opportunities, don't you? I'm going to head more this way into the marsh along the river and see what images are down through there. Because again, I'm just looking for these subtle colours to really highlight. You see, you might be able to see through there. There's a row of silver birches, which are just so bright against the darkness of the. Well, it's not dark, but the contrast, if you like, of the open space behind it. And I've shot through this fenland before, and I mean, I live around here, so you know it's on my doorstep, so to speak, and it's just so nice to be able to come here, certainly when there's not a lot of people around, and look at these things. And also at this time of year where the growth has kind of gone, yeah, we're not fighting to make our visual way through all of the summer and spring growth, which just makes visibility of some of these slightly far off things more awkward. There's a lovely little scene here. It's quite simple. Most of my scenes are quite simple. I try not to overcomplicate them. We've just got a little dinghy here, lovely reflections, river going off over there, and because I can get right in, make sure I've got no pockets open. There's one. There we go. Then I can flip my screen down and get kind of down here. I don't want too hard a focus range on this. I'm trying to work out where best to get this shot. So I'm shooting at f5 or at about 40mm here, and this is more a case of that way or maybe that way. I want to catch a little bit of the river coming in on the left hand side and get my level meter accurate. There we go. I quite like that. That's worth getting on your knees for.
In keeping with the subtle light we had on this day, I've processed this by desaturating, adding a bit of grain to it so there's a bit of texture to the image, and I think it works very well. Most of my processing is now done using the DxO suite of applications, starting with Photolab 8 and then running into the Nick collection. There's links down below for free 30-day trials of all of this software. No credit card needed.
This is the kind of image that I like from here. In fact, I've got something from this spot before now. And of course, why this works is because you've got a leading line that's going to take your eye through the image. I say why it works, why it's attracting me, why the last image works. I'm not going to pretend that the next image, which hopefully I'm going to get in a moment, is going to do the same kind of thing. But if I put up the image I've got here from before, you can see the kind of potential that this has, the beautiful hues and kind of warm brown tones, despite the fact that, you know, this is winter. I think that was probably an autumn shot, but yeah, these yes, thank you, these tones last right the way through, and perhaps in summer they're not as nice because they tend to be enriched even more by the really golden sun, which I think just does too much for them. But yeah, there's something here, I think. I've been debating how to get this image because there's some reeds really quite close by comparison, right at the foot of the dike that cuts through here, which of course I don't really want in there. If I get too close to them with this lens, then they're just too blurry and I can't get rid of them. I can't get through them. I'd have to change lens. And I thought, well, I'll come back here because there's this spot here that I can kind of get into, and does that work? And you know what, it kind of does, and I'm not sure. I'm desperately trying to choose the right kind of aperture for this, and that was f3.5, just to really soften everything except the tree that we're kind of focusing on. Oh heck, I've just seen something that I didn't see in the viewfinder because it's stuck behind the ruddy histogram on the viewfinder. I didn't see it. I don't know, there's a lot I can do about it. Maybe come here instead and zoom in further. No, that just makes it worse. Yeah, like that sign down there in front of the mill that I spoke about. I don't like it, but it's not natural. It hasn't grown there. It's been hammered in by somebody. So hey, I think removing it using the clone tool in Photolab, if that will manage it, might do, or I'll use Affinity or something. Not using Adobe anymore. Got fed up with paying them money for software that was substandard in terms of its ability to work on my machine, which is no slouch. It's just, yeah, I don't like the ethos. Anyway, I'll put this up and I hope you like it.
So a little comparison and contrasting, I guess, between these two images. Today's image, quite cold comparatively, although I have cooled this down in post-production. Not an unpleasant image, quite stark, I'd say. And if we look at the one that I shot a year or so ago, clearly the same scene. You can see the same silver birch over on the right-hand side. Much, much warmer. As I say, I'm sure this was an autumn image. Not going to ask you which one you prefer because I think they both stand on their own.
One of the kind of images that I like a lot is these scenes over to kind of coppices and woodland and such, where you've got some real contrast between the kind of depths of the woodland and the tree trunks that are at the forefront of it. You can see it over here with these silver birch. It's really nice. And I like to get a long lens, and I like to just find a pattern in these that kind of works. And one of the problems that you find with this is you may find a pattern that works, but you may find that the edges of your frame are a little confused, or there's a big gap, or you can't quite position it exactly right. And I think if you find that, then hey, more messages. People love me today. Fat chance. And yeah, oh, there's a bird just flown up from over there. Probably can't see it. It's a mill. It's no more than a pixel to you, I'm sure. But anyway, it's gone. And I like the way in which I can just get these in. And if you find the edges of your frame aren't quite right, hey, just crop in a little bit. You may find here, I'm certainly shooting in a 16:9. You may find that you can kind of letterbox that even more, maybe a 6:17 on it. Although in my experience, because there's no native kind of in-camera crop for that, sometimes that does not work in a situation like this, because you unless you've really just got the tiniest sliver of your foreground on it, then you don't get enough of the trees to make it work. So that may not work, but again, for most people, that's a post-processing crop in any case. So yeah, it's just a kind of scout through and see what you can do. And I'm in it, full tilt on this lens, 150mm, and just rolling back and forth to see what I like. And actually I'm quite taken, and I'm sure the balance is wrong, but visually you know, even through the camera, I like this collection over here. What's troubling me is that sticking up there, which is a problem because it's just in the way. Can I get rid of that by coming this way? Oh, I think I might be able to. Yeah, I can. Good. I'm going to give that a try, just on the edge of this thicket of silver birch, and I really like this. Walking up to Clayrack Mill is a lovely fence that kind of just separates fields, you know, it kind of cuts down into the water at an angle and is a great kind of focal point. And again, obviously, we've got the dike running off back, which is the output from the mill. So as ever, the challenge is finding the correct spot to take your image from. The mill just makes everything, well, that a little bit too man-made, and obviously it's as a structure at the minute, yeah, obviously it's undergoing restoration. Either that or someone's stolen it. It itself isn't picturesque. Parts of it are, for sure. You know, down there, some of the pinion gears and everything, all exposed. It's obviously it's a skeleton mill. That's what they're called. Then, you know, you can get to see some parts of it. You can see the scoop wheel. Down here's got some damage to it and such, you know, so you can see through parts of it. But I'm not terribly interested in the mill as such. I might find something interesting to photograph that's part of the mill, but obviously the structure itself is not terribly interesting. Documentary perhaps, but that's not what I'm here for. Anyway, so it's a case of being able to get that dike beyond. Oh, that's gorgeous. Hold on. Turn this around. So it's very much a case of getting kind of beyond the mill, shoot through the skeleton framework of it to get that. Now, I've had a quick look, and I think I can do without changing the lens. 40mm, probably still wide. Well, it's not 40, it's 80 in full frame terms. I don't know why I keep saying that, because it's a 40mm lens. It's just the crop factor that gives you the 80mm feel of it. It's not even a feel of it. It's an 80mm crop of it. It's yeah. It's a bit confusing, but I think when we say in full frame terms it's this, that and the other, I don't think that's entirely true. I need to research this a little more, but yeah, it's 150mm or 40 to 150mm lens, and that's what the magnification factor isn't on the magnification, but you know, it's the length. That's the telephoto length, the zoom length. Anyway, I digress. I will look this up further and report back, probably in another BS video, one that I'm almost certainly guilty of spouting. So yeah, I did wonder if I kind of got underneath here and was able to get down a little bit, but that's not possible because it's a tad wet down there. So my aim here is to get through here and kind of shoot from the other side of the scoop wheel. I like that, but might I be better over here? Oh, that's awkward. Oh, the light's coming back, that's nice.
The 4x3 of this had quite a lot of sky and additional foreground, which really wasn't adding anything to it, and I think this square crop works very well. I've also refined it using DxO Photo Lab and also the Nik collection. If you would like some free trials of the DxO software, please check out the links down below.
Some lovely light coming across here, and it's really brightening up these reeds. It's gorgeous. The sun's kind of wouldn't say it's breaking through, but yeah, it's kind of goldening up. What's the time? It's 3 o'clock, so sunset's in about an hour and a half or so. But obviously at this time of year things happen quite quickly, don't they? So yeah, it's already getting quite low, and this scene behind me is really rather nice as well, and just the way the light's catching certain parts of it again. This is what you wait around for when you've got a kind of partially cloudy sky. I mean, it's really breaking up. There's blue sky up here. I can see a contrail, and yeah, the sun breaks through every now and again and really brightens things up. You can probably just see, I don't know whether it's picking up over here, the way in which those silver birches are really beginning to catch the light. It's very nice. The cloud is pretty much kind of compacted into just a massive on the well, low down, you know, horizon up, I don't know how far, inches, that bit, you know what I mean. You know, up above me, not a lot of cloud. Right down in the horizon, it's compressed. It's not leading to the greatest image, but I've come around, so the river runs along down behind you, and there's a dike here, and this path runs around to the dike, and you can cross over. There's a sluice or something over here. By the by, two things I was looking for here. I was looking for another view. That's noisy. I was looking for another view onto the fence that I was shooting down by Clayrack Mill. And I can see it here, and I think if I go further down here I'll probably be able to get it. But also I'm looking for another clear view of Boardman's Mill, and I quite like that. It's rather nice. There might be another view of it down here, but if I walk a little bit further this way I may well find that I can get in the foreground that fence. So yeah, further down here I've got a view of the fence. I can also get turf fen wind pump and that little boathouse that I was by before, all on one line, and I think it works rather nicely. 16 by 9 because there's just not any detail up here and not enough detail down here to warrant it, and actually it emphasizes that elongation of the scene as well. But I've got to get in the right place for this and try to shoot through, or just the edge of these. There we go. The biggest problem is there's a couple of reeds just on the other side, and they're right in blooming frame. I wonder whether there's somewhere I can get a clearer shot through. Yeah, this works through here. In actual fact, I think this is even better because we've got quite a nice line of things. Just get my arm through there to get those out of the way. I'm breaking the rule of slicing this into half, I think. Yeah, this is very much a top and bottom image, but there's nothing to see up top. Maybe if I put too much on the bottom, I think that's going to destroy it as well. I'm going to do a couple. I'm just going to see what I get out of this. Now you see what I mean here. Perhaps I don't zoom in too much, but then there's this blooming bulrush down there, and that's taking the eye off that. Mind you, I can clone that out, can't I? Hey, whichever way we look at this, it's going to take a little bit of work in post. I'm all right with that. There's something I can do with that, and I really like that opportunity to get through and just get all those mills in a line. It's really nice. We might get some colour in the sky. Sun's dipping behind that cloud that I said had been compressed. So I think that the colour opportunity is probably not necessarily here, and I'm not entirely certain I want it anyway, because I wanted that kind of really wintry cold feel for this, and I think I've kind of got that. I think it works really nicely. I'm quite pleased at this point with the images that I've got. I'm running low on battery in this. I've changed it once, but I've changed it for one that's not fully charged. I'm sure I've got others, but as time's getting on, I'm going to run you out with the shot across the marsh here, and I'll put one or two other images up from this area, a couple that I've shot today that I haven't shot on camera, and maybe one or two from previous visits. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, I have holiday cottages just a few miles drive away from here, so if you want to come along, particularly in winter, and I do emphasize this, if you're going to come in summer, get on a boat. Boats are the best way, but if you're going to come and try to get some beautiful landscapes through here uninterrupted by people, you need to come out of holiday season. And just a few miles up on the coast, I've got a beautiful little cottage. I'd love to see you. I'd love to see your reaction to these photos. And yeah, as ever, thanks for watching. And yeah, subscribe, join, buy me a coffee. Why not? We'll see you soon.
There's a full edit of this image in the members section. You'll need to join the channel to see it, but by doing so you will support me and help me make more and more of these videos.